Good morning, everybody. Good morning. Can you hear me? Can you
Good
see?
morning, sir. Yes. Good morning.
Yeah. Good morning. Good morning.
Yeah.
How are you? Good morning.
Thank you. I'm fine, sir. How are you? Thanks for joining.
Good.
Yeah.
So, warm welcome to
So,
everybody, including Mr. Vishwit Rai Chaudhary.
Thank you.
I can see him here. Good.
Thanks. So, we will start within a second. So, Shomi ma'am, are you here?
You can
Shomi
open
ma'am.
your videos if you have no other objection. Others, only director is open.
Everybody, I request you to open the
No,
videos
it's
and
okay. Because you see what happens, frankly speaking, I believe in academic freedom. Those who are interested, they only should open. Otherwise, what happens, it becomes a compulsory attendance. I really don't
no,
believe in that.
fine.
No
So,
problem. No problem.
Shomi ma'am, I think please start your session today.
Thank you. And whoever is interested, they only stay. Otherwise, no problem. It's a little bit more of a discussion. Please go ahead, Swami.
Please on your microphone.
You are, please unmute yourself.
Yes.
I think she finished half of her welcome speech.
Shomi, please
I'm able to hear you.
unmute yourself. Please unmute yourself.
That's good. Thanks.
Yeah.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning, sir.
Very good morning.
On behalf of the South Asian Institute for Advanced Research and Development, SAIARD, I extend a warm and heartfelt welcome to all the esteemed guests, dignitaries, speakers, and participants who have joined us for this impactful, timely webinar on the theme Transforming Urban Slums, a Sustainable Reformation Initiative. Urban slums are not just area marked by inadequate infrastructure and services. They are home to continuous, full of aspirations and resilience. Addressing the challenges of this informal settlement requires not just policy interventions but an inclusive, people-centric and sustainable approach. This webinar is an effort to bring together thought leaders, policymakers, and practitioners to share knowledge, experiences, and innovative models for transforming slums into integrated and empowered urban spaces. It gives me great pleasure to begin today's session by introducing two of the most respected voices in this domain. First, I take the honor to welcome Dr. Bishwajit Roy Chaudhary, the chairperson of SAIARD. Dr. Chaudhary is a noted academician, development expert, and visionary leader whose tireless efforts have made SAIARD a center for advanced research, policy advocacy, and capacity building across South Asia. Under his guidance, SAIARD continues to work towards sustainable development goals and meaningful regional transformation. We are also deeply honored by the presence of our guest speaker, Sri S.V.R. Srinivas, IAS, Additional Chief Secretary, CEO of the Dharavi Redevelopment Project and General Manager of Best Govt of Maharashtra. Srinivas sir is a stalwart in public administration with an extraordinary track record of leadership in urban infrastructure, policy execution, and innovative governance. His stewardship of the Dharavi Redevelopment Project, one of the most ambitious and sensitive urban renewal initiatives in the world, reflect his deep commitment to inclusive development and sustainable city planning. His presence here today adds immense value to this dialogue, and we look forward to gaining from his vision and insights. With this, I once again welcome you all to this enriching session, and I hope it leads to new ideas, collaborations, and pathways to transform our urban slums into models of sustainable living. Thank you, and let us begin Without further ado, I invite Dr. Biswajit Roy Choudhury to take the virtual stage. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, Shomi, and thank you, first of all, Srinivas sir. It's my honor and pleasure to welcome you to in our platform, because since a long back I followed your initiative whenever as a principal secretary you were, and now you become the additional chief secretaries and also take several multidimensional responsibilities through your initiative. So on behalf of SAIARD, it's my pleasure, first of all, to welcome through my team as well as all the audience or participants, those who have joined from several parts of India, and to hear Sir Srinivas sir, particularly on the special issue that is the slum and the transformation of the slum, and it's there because as we know that slum is also called as the wounds of urban sector, and Dharavi, it's not just a slum, it's one of kind of legacy, and it's one of the supporting for handholding part of the urban sectors of the Mumbai and its citizens support also. And today, government of Maharashtra, it's taking a wonderful initiative in the transformation of the slum area and livelihood generation of that areas and livelihood upgradation. And we will be very much keen to know about the different initiative the government has taken and what kind of model they have fitted throughout in front of the India and other countries where the slum is one of the problem. And I think through this dialogue and through this initiative, we will definitely get to know some outcomes, expected outcomes, which will be helpful to the other urban planners, other urban thinkers in case of the their thinking in case of the urban planning management sectors as well. SAT from the very beginnings is acted as a cognitive role in case of the connecting people, most of the cases, the thinkers and the group of people who are also doers. So in that case, national and internationally, we are connected, you know that, and we are acted several initiatives. And if you go to our social media profile, hopefully you find that this July, we are continuing through the several dialogues on the different initiatives. And that this is our second dialogue which we are going to organize. And thank you once again to all of you for being join us, and hopefully in coming future we will get your all support. And I'm very much welcome again to Srinivas sir for joining us. Now the podium is yours, sir. We are eager to hear from your side, and we'll get to know about your initiative and the government of Maharashtra initiative. Thank you, sir. Over to you. Srinivas sir, are you here? Yes.
Sorry, there is some issue.
No issue, sir.
I'm very sorry for that. Please go
No,
ahead.
sir. Thank you. We have already welcomed you, and now the podium is yours, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Biswajit Roy Choudhury, for your nice introduction. And actually, I never knew about SAIARD. First time when I got a mail, then I went through your background, and then I found it's a very nice institution. Then Soumi contacted me through LinkedIn. So I generally am through, that is the only social media platform I use, if you can call it a social media platform. So I generally respond through that, which I did in this course. And then I did a checking with you, because sometimes staff contact me and the directors don't know. So I thought, because I had some issues similar in IIT, somebody called me and the director did not know. So better, I thought I'll check with you. And thank you for your confirmation, and let's start.
Thank
you. The session is for about an hour and a half. I think we have left with about 1 hour 15 minutes, which is quite enough. And we'll start into two parts, I think. See, this what I suggest is, let it be interactive. Let us start with urban India to start with, right? Or urban sector as such, right? Or let us start with even with the further going backwards to the what the Honorable Prime Minister and the Government of India is talking about, a $5 trillion economy, okay? Or economic growth as such, right? So what Mr. Pallav Mazumdar, what do you think is the key to economic growth? Let us be a little interactive. Key to economic growth. What do you think?
Yes, good morning, sir.
Good morning.
Yes,
Just this
sir.
is not to test you, just for your setting context. Please go ahead.
Yes. So, what I feel is the vision of Honorable Prime Minister to make India a $5 trillion economy. I don't think any specific sector should contribute in it. The overall, all the sectors of the economy should more or less contribute. But yes, the urban component of it, urban infrastructure or the service sector, we all know that India is a major exporter of the service sector, and a major contribution of GDP is from the service sector. So the service sector needs to be more developed in the urban spaces, and hence the urban infrastructure landscape needs to be more sustainable and robust in the near future.
Okay. Any others? Why you think anybody else? Anybody else? Let us not be specific now. Let anybody else wants to comment on it. Anybody else? Anybody else, please? Okay. So what
Anybody?
people generally think? Oh, sorry. Somebody is saying something. Please go ahead.
No. I'm just asking anybody. Kaikubad, you are also working on the urban sector, so you could also put your points.
Anybody,
Yes,
just let us be
yes,
interactive. See, just because I am giving lecture doesn't mean I know more than you. Please don't be in that impression at all.
yes,
It is
sir.
never like that. Everybody is learning. I am also learning continuously. Let me tell you. To be
I'm
frank.
Mohammad Kaikubad Ali. I'm currently working as assistant professor temporarily in Jamia Millia Islamia. Yes, sir. To answer your question, what is economic growth? To my understanding, economic growth if you think about as a country level, growth of a country refers to development in all economic sector, whether it is primary, secondary, tertiary, or quaternary or coronary. At the same time, a more economic participation from all segments of the societies, whether it is low income, middle income, or other income groups, or on the basis of caste and as well as gender. When all segments of the society and all sectors of economic activity they are progressing towards a better output, then I think economic growth would occur in the country.
Mr. Ali, I think it's very well put. Everybody, that is what we call it inclusive growth, right? Everybody should be able to.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
But as governments or as academicians, we should also think of the future. For future, you have to see the present and past trends, right? In general, I'm saying, not to Mr. Ali only, but all of us. I'm just initiating a discussion for next 5-10 minutes to set the context. See, this, if India wants to be, or anybody wants to be future ready, to be ready for the future. So what is required is that you should see the trends. Trend analysis has to be done. So if you see the trends, today India has about a population of 1.44 billion, right? So 144, 145 crores, largest. Out of that, about 40%, 38 to 40% are urban, right? 35% is urban, which comes to about almost like 50 crores. So 50 crores is equal to the total population of Russia, Europe, and Latin America and put together, right? Right? Are equal to the population of entire North America and South America, maybe. Because North America has a population of 32 crores. USA, I mean, Canada has about 2-3 crores. So 35 crores. There, South America has I think less than 10 crores. Okay. Because Argentina has a population of 3-4 crores, if I remember correctly, or less than that. Brazil has about a little more than that, you know. So it's a continental size of the population as far as urban India alone is concerned. But that is not so important as let us see the future. Future is that in the next 10 to 15 years, more than 50% will be from urban. Although Mahatma Gandhi said India lives in villages, but there is inexorable logic of, you know, urban sector growing. And what anybody thinks about why it is like that? Or anybody has a different view on this? Or before that, I can also add, let me hasten to add, the total GDP of India is about $4 trillion, right? Right. So out of that, so in terms of demography and economy, so how the urban India is placed. So I'm just talking now about demography. So I told you about what demography will be, but anybody has anything to comment on that? Okay, so this the Sanskrit there is a saying Maunam Ardhangikaram, means if you are silent means you half agreed. Okay, let us assume like that because time is short. And secondly, let us come to economy. See, today, can anybody tell me what percentage of the GDP comes from the agriculture?
Sir, about 17-18%.
Yeah, about 15%, right? And allied activities. So about 70%, 70 or more, 70 to 75% of the total GDP comes from urban areas. See, urban is so important. Let us talk about some examples. You are stated some of them, most of you are in Calcutta. So there's a Calcutta Howrah Mail. Howrah Mail, it used to pass through my hometown in Godavari district in Andhra. So it never used to connect my hometown, Tadepalligudem, to, let us say, some village in Bengal. No, it is always from Howrah to Madras, right? Howrah Mail. Or let us talk about the high-speed rail. It connects not some Ramgarh to Lakhimpur. No, it connects Ahmedabad to Mumbai. And then take the major ports, right? Where are they? They are in Calcutta, they are in Bombay, they are in, Chennai, like that. They are not in some villages. So anything you see, it connects ultimately to urban sector. Let us talk about another criterion, energy consumption. About 80% of the electricity is consumed in urban, for urban people. Not necessarily in urban, but for urban people, because they only the end consumers, whether they are in the form of industrialists, whether they are in factories, or somebody said service sector, or otherwise, right? So urban India is going to be the future. If not, it's already is. Some of the states, let me tell you, they are already so. That includes states entire South India and Western India. It's already so, right? So including Tamil Nadu, Andhra is not so much, but Telangana, Andhra will be very soon. But and then Kerala, of course, Kerala itself is like a township, and Karnataka, Bengal, Maharashtra, or even let's say even NCR and Gujarat. All these states are highly urbanized. So urban India becomes very, very important, right? Not because I'm talking about urban. I'm trying to argue with you why it is not so. If you are not so, I'll be happy to debate. I want somebody to debate and cross me. And you should not feel shy. You don't need to open your video also. Just you comment. Anybody?
Yes, sir. I would like to pitch in.
Yes.
You were previously you were asking about what were the probable reasons as to why the
Yes,
prominence
correct.
of
I'm
urban
coming to
space.
that. Yes, please go ahead.
Yes. So what I feel is, sir, there are two kind of factors. One is the pull factors, another is the push factors. So in rural India, agriculture is not that remunerative right now. So
Why is it so?
sir,
I'm slightly beyond the topic, but do you know why?
yes.
Anybody
Sir,
or yourself?
The main reason that comes to my mind is the land holdings are still, sir, small and fragmented.
No, but there is a study by Ashok Rudra which says that small holdings have the highest productivity. Ashok Rudra is a famous economist. It was very well, empirical study was done way back some 30, 40 years back. Okay. So it is not, size of the holding is inversely proportional to the productivity of land. So that is not the reason.
Okay, sir.
See, I'm purely academic. I am not an IAS officer. Forget it, my designation. Forget it. So I'm just telling you. So the point is, it's like this. If anybody else wants to say why it's so?
Sir,
Okay. Yes, please.
in rural areas, the economy is mainly agriculture dependent, and agriculture, the economic output is seasonal. I mean, one or two time monocrops, dual crop. So there is no continuous economic output from the rural areas.
Correct.
And also, sir, crop failure, rain-fed agriculture.
Those are the different issues. Crop failures are the different issues, but the economy is single dependent, multiple needs. In urban areas, you can earn money by selling papers also, and there are multiple opportunities of economies in urban areas. That's why people are coming to the urban areas, and in rural areas they don't have work for the
So there is a
off
push
season.
factor you are talking about, Mr. Ali.
Yes, that's the pushback factor. That
Ah.
in off season people have to sit there. They don't have earning opportunity. They have the work during the harvesting and cropping season.
Okay.
That's why most of the people from the rural areas, they are pushed out from rural areas, and they go to Mumbai, Delhi, and other places for earning.
Hmm. So now let me another 2 minutes I will take on this because I want a proper debate. Good debate is going on. So basically this, but why agriculture is earning less compared to, one is of course the reasons both of you have said are equally valid. One is that the single crop, double crop only. So other is sometimes you have natural calamities. But even assuming you have 3 crops, let me tell you, assuming 3 crops, there are no natural, even then agriculture earns less. Why? Anybody among
Because
the
of these
participants? Other
intermediaries
than
of
these two, anybody else who wants to speak?
Sir,
I want
I
Mr.
understood that.
Santra Abhijit.
Yes, sir. Sir, actually, the problem is that the production, whatever the farmer is producing, the way they are investing the money, that much of production after getting that they are not getting the proper money, the selling after selling the product.
Why?
Because I am belong to agriculture family, but I know how much my father is investing for the production of the particular crop.
Yeah,
But while
yes.
they are
Actually,
selling for
why? But
selling,
why? You're almost there. Why? But
because the problem is that the all the manures what we are using, all the infrastructure what we are using in the agriculture field, everything is increasing. But the way the production is not, means the price of the production is that way. I feel like
yeah.
because
So let us. Good. You're always there. But I am more theoretical in that sense. There is economics. What is called very good, Mr. Santra. It is something called terms of trade. In economics, there is a term called terms of trade. So the terms of trade between industry and agriculture for various reasons, including because of there is a value addition, because of the nature of agriculture. However, one might do put in effort. The terms of trade are always in favor of industry and services. Okay, so one should read about terms of trade. There are several PhDs that have happened in India and abroad about terms of trade. You can note down. Okay. Now coming to reason. Now coming to that point which Mr. Kaikubad has answered, why urban India is so important. He said there is a push and pull factor, right? So push and pull factor are, but can somebody tell me why it is a push and pull factor is so?
because of opportunity, sir.
See, let us say because there are no opportunities. See, it's like this. Let us assume. In India, people are, somebody give example of, people going to Delhi and all that. Yeah. But let us take another country. Developed country, US, for example. So population 98% are in urban areas. And there the villages are highly developed, by the way.
So
Somebody
they
said
move to
villages
the
are not
urban
developed.
areas for better quality of life
Ah,
in
that's
those
a well
places.
said. That is one of the very important reasons, better quality of life.
Better income opportunities, better livelihood opportunities, health, education, every kind of
Very correctly
opportunities.
said.
You
Correct.
can get all those facilities in your nearby. In our rural areas, you
So,
have to do kilometers for those things.
even if you don't do kilometers, in USA, everything is available in villages. If you see, they are like better than our cities. But people still go to urban areas. So, basically, even if you develop villages to the fullest extent, urbanization is here to stay. Can somebody give me a concrete example how it happened, where it happened, in which country? Can anybody? Out of 32 others. I'll give an example. The example is very close to your border, that is China. China during Mao Zedong, Chairman Mao's time, they came out with a policy. Until very recently, in fact, till about 15, 20 years back, they have put controls on migration. They said nobody should come to cities unless there is a permit given. And that policy proved to be disastrous. and they failed miserably, and then they removed that policy. Now China is one of the most urban areas and one of the most developed places. So urbanization is an inexorable phenomenon, right? Is a logic to it. The answers are very simple. The GDP, the gave answers I already gave in the beginning. The GDP is very high. So income sources are very high. Careers are better. Livelihoods are better. Entertainment is better, right? But it has other negative effects also. But the hierarchy of needs of Maslow, so we are still in that lower stage. Okay. So people don't bother about that so-called what Karl Marx has said about alienation. Young Marx. How many have read Young Marx? Huh? There is something called epistemological break. Has anybody heard of epistemological break in writings of Karl Marx? You should read a professor called Althusser. Will actually will come to know of all this. Anyway, so you know. The coming back to our because the academics is all connected, so you cannot say it's only about Dharavi I will speak. I will definitely come to that in about 5 minutes. But the background, you see, you should not see just I start only about Dharavi or something. But the overall background, why it connects to all of us is important. So in that context only, I'm putting the background. I understand background cannot be more than the foreground, so I'll close it in about 2-3 minutes. But that's important. So urban India is here to stay with us, right? And urban India is going to grow, right? So there's inexorable logic, as I said, of growing urban sector. The incomes are very high, and the reason is terms of trade. I told you, terms of trade, right? You can Google and read about terms of trade. There are several books written, several articles, several textbooks, several theses. Why it is so? Even if the farms are larger in size. Farms are larger. I'll give another example of California. California, when I was a student like some of you, it was famous for what, you know? About 40 years back, California was famous for what, you know that? Anybody? California was famous for agriculture. But now California means you will come to know, then it became that Hollywood. Now California is only famous for non-agriculture non-agriculture things, agriculture names. Agriculture names are what? Apple. Apple means apple factory, not eating apple, right? So like that. So there are so many, it's IT and software and all that, right? So even if California is developed, by the way, California's economy is so big, if you put it among countries, it is 7th largest economy in the world. California state, one state out of 50 states in US is so rich. So that is again because of terms of trade. Okay. So let us keep that background. So now coming to urban India. So urban India is going to grow. So what are the features of urban India? What we think today? One of the feature is, of course, you have a large organized cities. Okay. But the social sector has not kept pace with the urban sector, urban physical sector. Like for instance, in the rural villages, so villages are by definition rural. In rural areas or villages, you have very good primary health centers, sub-centers, rural hospitals. But you don't, public, I'm talking about public sector. In cities, it is still not so developed, right? Hospitals are there in private hospitals, but tertiary health sector is not yet so much of, a success story as yet. Okay. So what are the other features of urban India? Anybody? Okay, one of the features is, of course, the slums. Right? So slums are a very big feature. And in Bombay, about 60% of the population lives in slums. Perhaps you may be knowing this. So, and then many other features of urban India. And now urban India is transforming. Like I was doing the metro rail in Bombay. It was inaugurated last year back or so by Honorable Prime Minister. And we also built the Atal Setu. Mumbai is an island city, is connected to the rest of India by the longest sea bridge in India, which I happen to supervise and oversee. It's called Mumbai Trans-Harbour Link. So things are changing. But one of the very important things in urban India is slums. So what is a slum, by the way? Anybody? Dharavi is a slum, of course. But what is a slum? I'm not asking you to define, but what are the features of a slum? You see, it is difficult to define anything, but you can always.
Sir, high population density.
Very good. Yes. Others.
Deprived of basic amenities and facilities.
Suboptimal sanitation and cleanliness.
Correct. Anisha? Deepalika Das, any idea? No? Patra? Not there? Okay. No problem.
Sir, an overcrowded urban space where the facilities are not up to the mark as the other surrounding areas. Probably.
So it is a very high density of population. Yes, correct. Second, anybody else? Very good. Absolutely right. Tuhina?
Sir, is it possible we can measure the slum area where the people having daily wages is very less?
Come again. Abhijit.
That people, those who are settling in the rural means places where their daily wages is very less than 200 rupees per day. We call as a slum people or poor people.
Yeah, it is less, but compared to agriculture, it is much more. Yes, you are right, but point is well taken. Very good. Very good. Sayanti Day. Okay, let me not pinpoint. Let us come to the general discussion. No problem. The features that are associated. What is a slum? Slum is having some characteristics which you have just mentioned. But the most important characteristic of a slum is lack of basic facilities. Like for instance, slums, houses in slum do not have drinking water. They have only public taps. There is no household connection. Right? There is no household electric supply legally giving. Not legal. And there is no houses do not have sewage facilities. But most important, what do the people in slums do not have? Anybody?
Education.
Sorry? Education. Very good. Education.
Sir, the health facilities, proper health facilities.
Yes, very well taken. Very good. Correct. There are no health facilities, there is no sanitation, and they are highly illiterate. Agreed. But illiteracy is equally more in rural areas. But it is very much true what you said. I agree with that.
So
And overall, there is one thing missing there in slums.
Their economic participation, their economy is informal in nature, so there is no security in their economy, like what we have seen during the COVID-19 also. Those people, they suffer most during the emergency periods or lockdown periods or any kind of shutdown in economic activity.
Very good. Yeah.
Sir, they are not recognized by the urban local bodies, the municipalities or the corporations as beneficiaries of government schemes and policies, etc. So they are excluded in that way.
So yes, somebody else.
Cities, the slum people, they are recognized in Delhi also. They are recognized by the urban local bodies, and ELB gives some sort of facilities, amenities, but due to high population density and congestion, people in slum, they don't get the adequate amount of those services. But in urban, Delhi and Kolkata, there are government services for the urban slums.
Correct. So there is something that is missing in slums which others have. Even the rural people have. Is something.
Sir,
Yes, please. Yes, Madan.
Sir, I think you are talking about housing.
Also very high.
Sorry.
Voting percentage is very high, sir. There.
Exceedingly high. Correct.
Sir, you are talking about housing.
Housing, yes. People have houses, no? They're all staying. They are staying in houses, juggi, jopdis. They have no. No, without houses there will be no slum. Houses are there, no,
Yeah, there are houses, but not that
not proper.
adequate. Yes, adequate.
See, but there is something which Mr. Kaikubad, you mentioned it, maybe knowingly or unknowingly. There is something called which is missing in all these things are missing. Answers are all correct, by the way. But something overarching thing missing there is what is called entitlements. Means the property does not belong to them. They are
Yes, yes,
occupants.
true.
Right, Mr.
Informal
Siddiqui?
settlements. They are informal settlements.
Informal and many times illegal.
Illegal.
So, yeah. So, because the property land does not belong to them. Most of the time it belongs to government. Sometimes it belongs to private people also.
Sir, may I give an example of this? I mean, I am
Why
living
not?
in
No need to
Delhi.
ask. You should interject.
I am living in Delhi and I am nearby Jamia Nagar. So, in there is a Batla house, and in
Okay.
Batla house recently there is a boundary land between UP government and Delhi government. So people are living for decades there, and recently UP government claimed that their people are encroaching there, and that's why they had an order of demolition of nearly
Yeah.
hundreds of buildings there. However, the Supreme Court has put stayed on that.
So, this is Mr. Ali or Siddiqui who is speaking?
Yeah, I was speaking, sir.
Yeah.
Thank you
So,
for that.
this is right. But this is but one example of thousands that happen every day. Every day, somewhere in some city, some town in India, there is always a demolition. There is always some notice given to vacate. Not necessarily for public purpose, but also for private purpose. There is always, in Bombay, what we call, under the Bombay Slum Act, there is something called slum lord. Bombay perhaps is the only city where officially there is a recognized slum lord. It is a definition. What is a slum lord? You can Google and see. That is a separate part. But the point is, every day there is a notice. So because there are no entitlements, there are no titles. Entitlements word short part, center part is title. So since they don't have entitlements, right? So there is no certainty of the future. Every day is a problem. Secondly, because they don't have entitlement, their future is uncertain. One, legally they cannot sell that property. Illegally they can sell, right? And secondly, there is always an issue. There is a threat of demolition. So if just imagine, even our own houses tomorrow, we do not know whether we are going to be there or not. For official and unofficial reasons, what is the plight of these people? More than plight of the people, what will happen to their livelihoods? So entitlements lead to the question of livelihoods, right? Livelihoods become uncertain. When once livelihoods are uncertain, incomes and jobs are uncertain. So otherwise they are forced to accept low paid jobs. So basically, I would like to argue that slums are already actually they are the biggest subsidy to all of us in cities. They are indirectly subsidizing us, right? Because they are forced to occupy low wages, and they are in Bombay. My earlier driver used to stay in slum. I think some of our present people also they stay in slum. So
Sir,
people
I could not, sorry to interject, sir. Sir,
no problem.
I could not get why they are forced to to accept low wages, because if that should depend on the demand supply, right? If people if since there are more number of people in slum, that is why.
Yeah. Can anybody answer this question? Why they are forced to accept low wages? Why it should be? Or this is not the case? If not, why? If so, why? I'll wait for 10 seconds, 5 seconds. Otherwise, Pooja Saha, Farooq. Okay,
Sir,
no
can you
problem.
please repeat the question?
Yes, please. Shrestha.
Sir, can you please repeat the question?
No. The answer given is that I said the people are forced to accept low wages, right? In slums. people staying in slums. And that is, I said, it's an indirect subsidy to all of us because our domestic servant, they all stay in slums, right? Or whoever stays in slums, they're forced to accept low wages.
Actually,
So,
sir, they don't have proper education. That's why they don't get proper jobs.
yeah, okay. Even if you are educated person who is staying in a recognized house and same education, let's say both are 12th pass, who is likely to get more salary? It's very simple because if I don't have entitlement, I don't have bargaining power, right? I do not know.
Yes.
I don't have, I cannot, I can stay in my house if it's a legal house, right? It's very simple. And that is one of the very important factors. And tomorrow is uncertain. If tomorrow is uncertain, today he has to earn whatever he can or she can, right?
So they basically accept whatever comes their way. They don't.
They are forced to. They definitely. Why not? And not only that, many hazardous jobs are also exist in slums. So they do that. They do that. Yeah. In fact, I will say the recyclers or the rag pickers. They are most of them all over India. They stay in slums, and it is not an easy job, and it's not a very safe thing also. But that is the last thing one would like to do in a life, right? You pick the rags in the rag picking. So, right? So they are stay in slums. Not that they want to do, but because they are accepting lower wages and lower entitlements. So the argument is that lower entitlements lead to sort of lower wages, but this is at micro level. But let us talk about macroeconomic picture. If 60% of Bombay people are staying in slums and earning low wages, naturally the lower overall city GDP will be low to that extent. But to the extent that we are far away from Gini coefficient. Anybody knows about Gini coefficient?
Yes, sir. It is a measure of income inequality.
Very much inequality. Well said. So we are the farther on the line, we are closer. Gini to the extent that we are away from the Gini coefficient, the more the possibility of the reverse being true, right? Because the richest person, and if you take the law of averages, it's quite easy to have a higher income per capita, but nonetheless, the inequalities cover that up. Okay. So wherever you have any doubt, please stop me, anybody. I'll be happy to answer. So the question is, the point being made is a limited point for as of now, at this moment, is that slums actually are the subsidies to the rest of India. This is my argument. Okay. I am arguing that actually slum people are the biggest subsidiaries for all of us. Whether it's staying in Delhi or Bombay or Hyderabad, Chennai, anywhere. Okay. So if anybody has any different argument, I'll be happy to listen. No?
Yeah, agreed, sir. Agreed.
So better to agree, huh? Okay, okay. So, okay. Now, having argued that slums are here to stay, and what is the biggest reason for, we have defined what the slum is about, right? What are the features of a slum? Including somebody said about education, somebody talked about entitlements. I only spoke about it, but also low incomes, low sanitation, low health, right? So, but why it happens, slums? Rashmi Mandal, what is the reason for slums?
So because lack of urban planning, the housing development and
Who is
all.
Shrestha or
these are-
Rashmi? Who is talking?
Hello? Hello?
Yes, Rashmi, please go ahead.
Am I audible? Yeah.
Why
Sir,
people
slums
go to
are,
slums? Yeah,
sir, due to the migration and the
very
informal
good.
settlements, the migrant
Yes,
people
excellent.
settle informally and form a slum.
Excellent. So this is what, so that's why I wanted people to speak. You know, but you don't answer. It's good. So it is because of migration, right? And I gave that example, if you remember, about China. Chinese government stopped migration, but that failed miserably. Okay. So migration is basically a phenomenon which is going to happen big time. As we speak, every day in Bombay, there are 200 families which are migrating to Bombay. Which means by the time we finish this session in 1 hour, there will be about 10 families who would have come to Bombay. And secondly, where do they go? Rashmi has just answered, they go to the informal settlements or slums. And whom do you go in slums? You have seen that film Nayakan, some of you, and Hindi I forgot that name, that famous movie. I am forgetting its name in Hindi.
We are talking about Slumdog Millionaire.
No. There is a famous underworld. So I am forgetting in Telugu, it's called Nayakudu. So he is the leader. Nayakan means a leader. In Hindi, there is a film, and Amitabh Bachchan's old films are there. So where, Kamal Hassan's film is also there. So basically, he goes to the slum lord. You have heard of a person called Varadarajan Mudalayar? Anybody has heard of him? No? He is the underworld don. He was the underworld don of Bombay. Okay. He used to control entire Bombay. He used to stay in Dharavi. So he used to always sit on the floor. Even if Tahsildar goes, he used to sit on the floor. But big people used to go and pay respect to him. On the time only that film was there. Varadarajan Mudalayar. Okay. So you can Google and see. Whatever I am saying, please Google immediately and see. It may be untrue also. Better you check whatever I say. Not only about this, any other point as well. So this why slums come? Because of migration. Right? Varadarajan Mudalayar himself by name, it is a Tamilian name, right? So he is migrated. His forefathers had migrated. Okay. So migration is here to stay. See, migration is here to stay. Slums are here to stay. So what do we do about slum development? There are two approaches to slum development. One is to improve the living conditions. You build a hospital, you build a school, wherever. But the point is, in slums, there is hardly any space left. People have already occupied. Somebody said population is very high. 2-3 people have said, participants, which is correct. Density of population in India? Anybody? Quickly Google and tell me. Anybody? Any answer?
382.
Population of density in India. Density of population in India?
382, sir.
Yeah. And the population of density of population in Calcutta? Anybody?
Maybe 11 or 12,000.
Yeah, density means population divided by square kilometer. So population per square kilometer is density. So Bombay density is about 25 to 28,000.
So
per square kilometer.
Is showing about 25,000.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right.
Anybody? Somebody saying something? Okay. So this density of Dharavi is 2 lakhs per square kilometer. Yeah, it may be a little more, but not less. So the density is so high, there is no space to really build schools or hospitals. There is a limitation. People have already occupied. In the slums, especially if you put a nail on the wall, it will go to the next room, next person's bedroom. That is how the situation is. So high density, some people have mentioned very correctly. So what is to do? So one is to do how to take care of slums. There is a question. One is, as I said, make improvements in slums. To do some road network to the extent possible. To try to do some, what do you call, let's say, you try to do some improvements to provide some drinking water, like that. You can do. But still some slums remain slums, okay? They don't, right? So another approach is to talk about slum redevelopment. You completely build the slum anew. Right? Okay. So how do we build slums? Rebuild or redevelop slums. That is the issue. Now we are coming to Dharavi. Okay. So any question? Now let me take some questions about Dharavi so that it will be very nice interactive session. And then I will come to the theoretical underpinnings of this project. in about 5 minutes. Or you want to take a break? I really don't want, but if okay,
Sir, we can continue.
yeah, let us
Yes, sir,
continue.
we can continue.
Yes. I'm here on. My video is also there. No problem. You can make out if I'm going away. No problem. But if somebody wants a break, so let us continue. So this. So what questions you have about Dharavi? Anybody? Let me answer those questions. From that only, I can pick up threads and go ahead accordingly.
Sir, in some movies and all, I have seen that many people in Dharavi, they are into, they are like into the, occupation of washing clothes and all. There are huge, canals, and besides those canals, people are washing clothes, and
Yes.
those scums and all, they are going into the drains and clogging the drains. Some kind in some movie.
So
I saw.
washerman, washing activity, very good. Yes, correct. Correct. Somebody, most of you must have seen Slumdog Millionaire, no? Slumdog Millionaire. Did you see? Okay. Right.
What about leather industry that is, coming
Mr.
down?
Virender,
Yes.
Mr. Virender, you are absolutely right.
Hmm.
So there is a huge leather industry, and most of the leather industry is controlled by Tamilians.
Yeah.
Dharavi. Okay. So the leather tanneries are there. So it comes from Tamil Nadu and South India. Yeah. Okay.
It seems to be a hub for leather industry, actually.
It is definitely among inter area. It is a hub for leather industry. And any bag you want of any brand, you will get there.
You get it
If you
there.
want Louis Vuitton,
You will
bag,
get
you
it.
will get it in Dharavi.
Yeah.
Okay. And very cheap also. Which will cost you some 1 lakh rupees, it will get in 2,000 rupees in Dharavi. So it's a very, very well said. And Mr. Virender, thank you. It is a very big hub of leather industry. Correct.
So what about this news of the big MNC, or you say Adanis, or some big people involved in redevelopment of the
Yes.
slum? Yeah. So
Yes.
is it a discussion related to that something?
Yes, right now it is a development is being undertaken. Just this is for everybody. This is actually coming to the present. It is being redeveloped by a consortium consisting of Mr. Adani, his company. It is called Now Bharat Mega Projects Private Limited, Redevelopment Properties Private Limited. Yes, that's correct. But anybody can tell me when was it first conceptualized, redevelopment of Dharavi? It happened in 1985. See, in 1985, there was a celebration in Bombay, a century celebration, century of Congress Party, which was established in 1885. So 1985 was 100 years of Congress Party was celebrated. Then Prime Minister, remember, anybody knows who was the Prime Minister, the youngsters?
Rajiv Gandhi.
Correct. So you proved yourself to be youngster by answering this question. So Rajiv Gandhi was there. He was a Prime Minister. So he went to Dharavi, and for the first time, somebody spoke about it. It is now let us understand, today it is 2025, 40 years. And in between, there are several attempts to redevelop Dharavi, but none of them succeeded. None of them succeeded. This happens in India, that even if Prime Minister wants, goes there personally and declares, and they give a grant also. In those days, he gave some 100 crores, out of which 32 crores went to Dharavi. In those days, 40 years back, it's a big amount. Really, they built some houses and nothing happened much after that. So even if Prime Minister wanted, it took 40 years to start the project. So now as we speak, construction has started here. So let me quickly bring you to the present position, right? Construction has started. Yeah. Any other questions? Any other questions?
Is terrain an issue there?
I'm sorry.
Is terrain also an issue there, because slopes? It's not a playground.
Terrain is no. Terrain as such, no. But it has a very close to the sea. It is very close to sea. There is a creek which comes towards Dharavi. So there is every creek by definition, by seas by definition, have this high tides and low tides. Right? So Can anybody tell me Sayantani Bhattacharya? High tide and low tide. What are they? Sayantani Bhattacharya. Not there.
Yes, sir, I'm there, but
See, it is basically the
Sayantani
backwaters.
Bhattacharya. Can you tell me? Yes. Yeah, Mr. Virendra, you are going to say. Anybody? Yes, please.
See, backwaters get affected by the tide of the sea. Every 6 hours, you will have a high
Every
water.
6 hours it happens because of the rotation of the earth and because of it rotation of the moon around the earth, right? Okay, this is some small things we should remember. We study at childhood, but we forget. That is why. Sayantani, you wanted to say something? No? Okay. So there is a tidal effect. So the terrain issue, that is the question. That is the answer. Yeah. Anything else? Any other question about Dharavi project?
Sir, I am Professor S.V.R. Siddiqui from University of Allahabad. Really, I congratulate you. You have highlighted many inherent aspects of slums, particularly in the case of metropolitan cities of India. What is your perception regarding the social fabric in slums area? I mean, social communities residing in slums area, because in foreign countries, I have given example of USA. There are ghetto and colonies on the base of race, caste, and other things. What is the in present scenario? Have you observed in particularly in Bombay? What are the social fabric? And I mean, Hindu, Muslim, religion wise, caste wise.
Thank you very much. Very good. Very good. Thank you, Mr. Siddiqui from Allahabad. See, now you call it Prayag, I think. So anyway. So anyway, so this, thank you for asking this question. See, I'll come to in general about social fabric of slums and then come to Dharavi. The social fabric of slums is extremely good, extremely harmonious in general. Can anybody tell me the reason why it's so in general? Puja Patra or Puja Saha? They have left. Let me go to Deepalika Das. See, its reason is very simple. That the fact that people don't have issue, they are fighting for basic survival every day. So they are forced to cooperate and coordinate with each other. Otherwise, they'll be swept aside, right? So it is important. They actually fight for their livelihood issues. So generally, that is why not that, and people by inherently also in general, human nature is to cooperate with each other. So other factors don't come up so much. And I'll illustrate this answer with example from Dharavi. Dharavi is mini India. Dharavi is mini India. There are people from Gujarat, actually, who are the original inhabitants of Dharavi. It is about 100 years old. People from Kutch and Saurashtra, region of Gujarat, they have come and settled here. There are about lakh of people, 1 lakh. Then there are people from Tamil Nadu, Tamilians. In fact, one of the MLAs, his name was Tamil Selvam. He is MLA. He was MLA there. And so Andhrites, a huge number of people from Andhra are there. People from Kannada speaking, a lot of them. And people from Bengal, of course, they celebrate Durga. And I don't need to speak about the cow belt from here, from where Mr. Siddiqui comes. So cow belt is everywhere. So definitely there are people from UP, Bihar, lot of them. And of course, Maharashtrians, because it is located in Mumbai. So it's a mini India. That is about languages. They speak Tamil. You speak any language. You speak any language in Dharavi, somebody responds to that. It's multilinguistic, multi-ethnic, multi-religious. Huge number of Muslims, huge number of temples, Hindus. There are about 200 temples in Dharavi itself. I doubt whether Allahabad has so many. I do not know. Okay. And there are about more than 100 mosques. More than 100 mosques. I am not even counting madrasas and what is that other things? I'm forgetting the name. That Masjid also. Anyway, so these are the huge number, and there are churches, right? Okay. So huge number. So social fabric, this is the social fabric. It's a multi-ethnic, multi-linguistic, multi-caste, multi-religious, multi-communal. And so it's a mini India. It has always been so, by the way. Any other question?
No, if somebody has been closely studying Dharavi, I'm sure there is immigration, but there must be emigration also. People must be moving out to better places
Yes.
once they have established themselves into some.
Very good question. Very good comment, rather. It's not a question. Good comment. I agree with Mr. Virender. So there is also immigration. But what is happening is out of 100, 10 people emigrate, 20 people come. So it is always filled to the brim. And in fact, let me tell you, Vardarajan Mudalir himself emigrated to a place called Pedder Road in Bombay.
Wow.
It's a very, very posh area. So he settled there towards the end of when he became old. So that is a small example. I mean, to illustrate, but people do emigrate. Yeah, because if there's something called upward social mobility, no?
Correct.
Social mobility. So people would like to go up. So in fact, the previous MP who was born in Dharavi, he himself was migrated to another place called Chembur. Chembur is where a lot of Tamilians are there again.
Yeah.
But he himself is not a Tamilian, but in any case, that's a very common thing. And it is happening in Dharavi as well. Correct. Any question from, let's say, Patra? Chetia? Chetia is there?
Sir, please tell us detail about the ongoing redevelopment plan.
I'm going to come to there. Yes, I'm coming to there. Of course. Of course, I realize it's already 12 o'clock. So, yeah. So, this is now let me come to the present thing. So, as I said, construction is going on. So, I've already set the context at a macro level and also at a micro level, right? As to what is happened in the city level. So, set the context and I have come to the present. And I have said nothing happened for last 40 years. So, why nothing has happened for 40 years? Because people don't want to come out, don't want to, everybody wanted. But still, there are certain very unique features of Dharavi slum, unlike other slums in India. Let me touch upon some of them. You must be knowing, they call it the largest slum in Asia. Right? And the second largest slum or equally big slum is among our neighborhood friend only, Pakistan. That the name of that slum is called Arangi. Arangi is equally bigger, but the population wise it's hardly 1/5 or 1/10 of Dharavi. So it is not that much complicated. So let me come to the project as such. See, it is the world's largest urban renewal project. So if you want to do some studies on all that, you can do it there. In fact, Harvard Business School, as we speak, as a case study on Dharavi for the last 20 years, as to how a project cannot happen. I have read it myself, right? Harvard Business School, and Columbia also has a case study on Dharavi, and many schools have it. So it is the world's largest urban renewal scheme. Secondly, what I call it as the brownest of the brownfield projects. See, there are greenfield and brownfield. Greenfield is typically where it's open land. But here is the situation of brownfield, but brownest of the brownfield. Most complex. It's among the projects I have handled, right? See, I mentioned some of them. The Atal Setu, which is India's longest sea bridge. High seas construction. Or I have also in charge of Mumbai Metro Rail. Highly technical work. But among all the projects that I have handled, this is the most complex. Because of one reason, here the issues of just not construction, but issues of livelihood are involved. Okay. And what we are constructing is not, what we are doing here is not just slum development. No. Actually, we are building a city within a city. The population of Dharavi in 2008, the survey was done, this is about 18 years back, 17 years back. It was 4 to 5 lakhs. So many city municipalities, even that time, were smaller than corporations, were smaller than Dharavi, right? So it is it's the largest and most complex. And one of the points Mr. Virender has rightly pointed out, and somebody else also said, there are washermen and there is a leather industry. But let me tell you, Dharavi is the most bubbling economy among all economies, informal economies in India. The business in Dharavi is documented, is informal sector. Nonetheless, it is documented that about roughly $1 billion of business happens every year in Dharavi. To repeat, $1 billion, which means about 8,500 crores business happens in Dharavi. Yeah. Okay. And let me tell you another aspect. Dharavi is India's largest recycling machine. I call it recycling machine. Entire waste of Bombay is recycled in Dharavi. Yeah, there are rag pickers and they have factories. The glass, the plastic, they recycle and resell. Another livelihood in big scale, I'm talking about big scale, big numbers, is pottery. Pottery means that the terracotta pots. And most of them belong to Gujarat, who have settled there, as I told in the beginning. They have come and settled there. They are doing only pottery for about a century. This is the fifth generation. Okay. So pottery is a big thing. And another is food industry. See, if Dharavi closes, half of the Bombay will not have breakfast or snacks. Because all our idli vada, or what they call it, vada pav, all these things, entire Bombay, they supply. There are hundreds of Udupi restaurants and other restaurants in Bombay, in Dharavi, which supply food for. So there is a pottery, there is a leather. I told you all these units. And there are not one, not two, not 10, not 20. Each category, there are hundreds of them. There are hundreds of units, commercial and industrial factories and industrial units of each of these category, by the way. Yeah. And there is another category which I should mention is the garments, textile garments. Okay. So any shoe or any shirt you want, you want a Hugo Boss shirt or you want any shirt, it's easily available in Dharavi at a very cheap price on the lighter side. But it means there are so many factories and industries, which means there are issues of livelihood are involved. So when you
Sir,
redevelop,
do they directly,
account. Yes, please.
Sir, do they directly sell these finished goods like textile
Yes.
and shoes?
Yes. Yes, and some of them they export as well to Africa and other countries. And they directly sell in Dharavi. You can go and buy, definitely. And they also, some of them do export, and most of them go within the country also. They go to Chennai, they go to Hyderabad, they go to Delhi. Yeah, definitely. But they are all, again, as some of you have pointed out, the informal sector. Informal sector. Right? Because by definition, it is a slum. So if you are a slum, if you establish a factory, if you want to get a connection, if you want to get license, owner's NOC is required. But you don't have. So, and of course, there is advantage also. They don't pay taxes also. Okay. But more important than paying taxes is perhaps, the fact that your future is uncertain. Am I right? Future is uncertain. Yeah. Entitlements issues, as I said in the beginning. Okay. So this is the character of the Dharavi, which is by far the largest redevelopment project in the world. No such thing has ever been attempted. So that is why when we started developing this project, I was at sea, because time-tested slum redevelopment projects have been attempted here, as I said, from 2004 onwards. It was conceptualized in 85. Then the slum development started in Bombay in 1996. Okay, slums are already in Bombay, not just Dharavi. There are many slums, hundreds and thousands of slums. There are hundreds of slums, not hundreds of slum people. Okay? Hundreds of slums are there in Dharavi, in Bombay, in Mumbai. And that started in 1996. So people started trying. In 2004, they established a Dharavi Redevelopment Authority. And the chairman of the slum projects, Slum Development Authority is the Chief Minister himself by designation. And so Dharavi separate body they have established. They put in IAS officer. And continuously there were attempts to redevelop it. They were non-starters. One of the last was in 2016. They come out with the global bids. Please participate. Nobody came. Because, as I said, it is a very, from the investor's point of view, it is a high-risk project. High-risk project. Because of complexities I just mentioned, just to mention in one word, which is the density, high density, and it's very close to airport, so height restrictions, and it is also the mixture of multi-ethnic, groups. It's a mini India, as I said. It is not one homogeneous community, but harmonious community, but not homogeneous. Heterogeneity, if at all, diversity is at its best in Dharavi. And of course, a huge size, it requires huge investment, right? And most importantly, it's a mixture of residential and commercial units, which raises issue of not just lives, but as I said, I think it's the first time I'm mentioning that word livelihoods. Okay, and one has to give entitlements to them and to make them owners in spite of all this. But nobody came. Finally, we changed the entire tenure, the parameters of the redevelopment. So finally, there were some people who responded. So in the bid, earlier some Dubai company was in the reckoning. Then the government decided to rebid it. In the rebid, now it is Adani, DLF, and one more company have competed. So cabinet file went to cabinet, and the state government decided to appoint based on norms only, on merits. It was decided to the NMDPL. Earlier it was called the Dharavi Redevelopment Projects Private Limited. Now it is NMDPL, which is the Navbharat Mega Properties Private Limited, which is owned by Adani, which is redeveloping it. Any question? Okay. Let me ask. Yes, please.
If I may interrupt. Have we been able to define the boundaries of Dharavi?
It's a very good question.
That's the first question.
Yes.
Secondly, when we plan, if we have defined the boundaries, then how now the redevelopment means moving people from slums, those shanties, to the good houses that the government plans to make and give it to them. So some places fall vacant. Is there a mechanism in place that you will make sure that the shanties that have been vacated are not occupied by the immigrants again?
Yeah.
Those will be issues that will continuously happen unless we define the boundary. Okay, these are the coordinates of Dharavi, and we build it up like a mega society or something like that.
Correct.
Otherwise, the redevelopment, it will be
no
like
meaning. Correct.
Yeah, it will keep growing, and the government, it will be like a cat and mouse race. You keep chasing them, and more and more people come.
You are chasing a mirage.
I would like to add, sir, with your
Mr.
kind
Pallav,
permission,
yes.
I would like to add a question here. So, as a part of this development plan, you said that the existing like jhuggi jhopdis and all, they will be dismantled, and a structure, a building of some sort, a 1-story or 2-story, that will be constructed and handed over to them. So, sir, my question is, these are permanent structures. So, is the government acknowledging them as permanent residents by this redevelopment plan?
Yeah, let me answer all the three questions in that order. First is Dharavi boundaries are defined well because by roads and by natural boundaries. Okay. So there is areas notified with boundaries. So that has happened. And second is, the question is, when you redevelop it, the new houses will come, the old houses will have to be, that area has to be protected, otherwise people will again come. So that is being done. That is being done. And if not by government, by sheer the numbers. See, by sheer logic, in fact, there is no space left. See, suppose you take a slum, not Dharavi, you take a smaller slum also. Once you redevelop it, everything is closed. There is no place to put any other shanty in the slum. But the problem is not solved because people go to another slum and they put it there. Okay, there is a larger question. That is why I said in the beginning only, that's why I gave that context. Just developing one slum, small slum is not the issue, but you should have a proper slum policy about migration and how to take care of economic growth. That's why I started the lecture with the economic growth of India. Okay. And the third is Mr. Mazumdar asked regarding, what was it? Sorry, I forgot.
Sir,
What was the
I
question?
asked, yeah, sir, I asked that as a part of this redevelopment plan, since we will be constructing single-storied or multiple-storied.
Yeah, about pakka structures. Yes, they are pakka structures. Yes. They are already pakka structures.
Sir, so is the government acknowledging or recognizing them as permanent residents?
Yes, we are, in fact, what we are going to give them are entitlements. Their proper house will be built by, through the government, through this agency, appointed by government, and will be allotted to them as owners. So they get entitlement, they become owners, and they'll be able to sell it also if they want after a few years. Okay. So that is what is the, so your question, I hope, is answered. Any other question?
Sir, I have one question.
Here. Yes.
Mr. Kaikubad.
Yes, sir. Yeah, this is good thing that the development work is being done there. But my question is that, as you said, and we know that the per square kilometer density of population there is nearly over 1 lakh or to nearly 2 lakh. So my first question is, while redeveloping the place, it is a time-dependent process, and for that reason, we have to displace that much amount of people to other place. Is government doing any kind of such activities where people of that particular place is being resettled somewhere else for the time being of the construction? This is first question. And second one is that, what is the feasibility of, how tall the structures will be there for providing adequate space to people? I mean, when the density of the population is so much high.
Correct. So this, to answer your question, the first question is, we are trying to give the final homes directly to those people so that there is no need for going for a temporary accommodation during construction. But typically, in all other slums, people are given a temporary accommodation. It's called a transit accommodation. When the slum is developed, and they go back to their houses after it is completed and allotted to them. That is how it is. But here, 90% of the time, we are did in such a way, because as I said, this is a very complex and brown to the brownfield. Why? Because there are livelihood issues, right? So the attempt is to ensure that 85 to 90% people don't have to go to transit or temporary accommodation. They will be staying there and they'll go to the new houses. Second question is, how much height? See, nowadays, why in Bombay it has always been high rises have always been there. So here also there will be high rise buildings. Okay, high rise buildings, and people will be built flats. The size of the flat will be 350 square feet. It has a hall, it has a bedroom, and it has a kitchen. Okay, and it has an attached bathroom with all the electricity, water supply, storage, stormwater, everything. Any other question?
Sir,
Sir, I have one question.
This is a little
In
bit.
fact, there are many things I have yet to speak on, unanswered, but unasked. But yes, quickly, two more questions and
Sir, one
Sir,
question that, is this project has some satellite space? It means apart from the Dharavi area, if they are trying to relocate the population to some other brownfield areas away from the Dharavi, is there any such kind of thing?
yes, correct. That is because you see, slums by definition, slum rules. There is a rule. The rule is as following: whoever is staying in Dharavi or any slum for that matter will not get. All will not get. Only those people who have come before the year 2000, which is 25 years back, and who are on the ground floor, they are only eligible for redevelopment. So in all other slums, typically what is happening for the last 25 years, I told you, slum development project started in Mumbai in 1996 onwards. So in the last 25, almost 30 years, only eligible people got it, but those are on the upper floors, first floor or a mezzanine floor, or those who have come later, they could not get. They were thrown out simply. But that is not a solution, because when people are thrown out, they go to other slums, right? And then they go to other places and again they occupy. So that is why in Dharavi, we make it something different. It is simply out of the box thinking. There are more important out of the things ideas, but I will touch upon the question asked. The question is, are you sending them outside Dharavi also? So I talked about eligible and non-eligible people. Eligible people who are come after up to the year 2000, and this is, by the way, mind you, one of the oldest slums in the world. So most of them are from outside, from before that. So they will be in Dharavi itself. They will be rehoused. But those who are not eligible, those who are in the first floor, second floor, and there are many of them, 50% of the people, they stay like that. And those who have come later on, they are not eligible. In the normal course, they should have been thrown out. But here, the project's motto is housing for all. So when I took over, I said it should be the project for housing for all. Your chief minister said it should be given to everybody, because you cannot throw out 1 lakh people, 2 lakh people. So that is not correct. So now what we thought is we should give housing for all, but not in Dharavi, but inside Mumbai only, within 10-kilometer radius possibly. Okay. So like we have found out some lands which have been transferred to us by government agencies, for which Adani has paid for it or is paying for it. Adani means that company, NMDPL, that is an SPV. So where they are paying for that, and they are actually getting the lands. So these ineligible people will be transferred there. We got some lands in Kurla, for example. Those who are aware of Bombay, just across there is one area. So 3-4 areas are there. We are trying to send them only eligible people. But these people in other slums, except Dharavi, they would have been thrown out. But here we are not doing so. Any other question? Okay, let me just stop here and now go to another. We have exactly about 5 minutes. Let me talk about the structure of the project, what the project entails, the scope of the project. The scope of the project, as I said, we are building city within a city. So city meaning we should have a first, a city has all the components. All that components will have to be built, because this area of Dharavi is about 650 acres. It is in the heart of Mumbai. It is not in somewhere suburban. No, it is like your what we called this Alipur type, Calcutta Alipur, right? Or Connaught Place in Delhi. So that location is as central as much that. Okay. So we are building basically a city. And second is we formed an SPV, special purpose vehicle, under the Companies Act. So where government is also a partner. So government is a partner. There is a senior IAS officer, is chairman of that NMDPL, now Bharat Mega Projects Private Properties Limited. And 20% of the share goes to government, 80% share goes to Adani Properties Private Limited. So it is a total company with this ownership. Okay. So I thought before I forget, I should tell you about the structure of the project. And the cost of the project, nobody asked me, but let me tell you, the cost of rehabilitation, including everything, including maintenance, capex and all, it comes to, can anybody guess? Can anybody guess? Sharmi Khan? Sharmi? Sharmi is sleeping. Okay. Gayatri? Gayatri is doing Gayatri Mantra. Let us talk about, let us, Rituparna Mandal, Sovan, Subbalakshmi, Sumati. No, nobody is there. Okay. The cost is about 1 lakh crores. I think now any other thing you should.
So
There
what
are
is
lot of things in this project which are highly complex. But I thought first let me, as a student, the larger questions have to be, I am also considering myself to be a student. The larger background understanding is important. That's why it spent about 20-30 minutes on the.
So what is the
background
total project timeline? Like
the timeline for the project is 7 years from the start of construction. 7 years. But 7 years is very short. 7 years is very short. It's very challenging. Because even if we construct our own house, it takes about a year's time or 2 years. We are talking about thousands and lakhs of houses. So it is going to take time, but the time period to answer your question once again is 7 years.
And so the capex cost that is entirely borne by the state exchequer or like some
No,
private
no. Good question.
PPP model.
Out of this total cost, state government is directly spending 100 crores. Only. That comes to what percentage, by the way? Can anybody?
Sir, do the local people have to pay for
That's
getting
right.
the houses?
Hardly any. Yeah, please go ahead. Sorry.
Do the local people have to pay for getting the houses?
No. Those eligible, they will be given house free of cost. Those not eligible, who are being sent outside, inside, but will be in Mumbai, will have to pay a very small amount. Now it is 12:30. Exactly. Actually, I would have liked you to speak more on infrastructure because actually I'm an infra man, not so much of slum and housing. So metro rail or something, urban infrastructure. Anyway, that's okay.
Sir,
Nice.
one thing is what you said, that there is a part of the project that result people moving out of the Dharavi slum area, and they will be relocated to new places. One example of West Bengal, the West Bengal government 2 decades ago, they initiated similar project where the people from Bajbaj and Narkeldanga area, slum areas, they were relocated to new place. But
Okay.
those people, they took the houses, but they did not relocate there. They did not shift there only because of their commuting problem. So, is there any kind of thinking on this
That is
also?
what I said. That is what I said. One is, two things happen in such cases. One is people don't go there, and secondly, even if you go there, though some people would have gone there, I'm sure, but they will not vacate here also. So it is not a such.
Yeah, that's true case in Kolkata.
Yeah, true. So that is why what we are doing is, as far as since as I said repeatedly, the issues of factories, industries, and businesses are involved. We are giving we are giving businesses structures also, shop for a shop, factory for a factory, but within Dharavi itself. We are not sending them outside because their business is already set for decades in Dharavi. So that should not be disturbed. For that, we created a mechanism which I can speak somewhere else because today is a shortage of time. Swami, you want to ask me any question? You should also ask.
No,
Sir,
sir.
Pakka sir.
Srashta has not spoken. Okay, no problem. See, actually, that's what I said. See, whoever is interested only, they can stay. Complaint. It's nice interacting with all of you.
So can I ask a question?
Yes, Reshmi.
Yeah, sir, to avoid the relocation, I studied somewhere, I can't recall, but a solution of land readjustment was a solution to the small parcels of land was given to the slum dwellers, rather giving them beneficiaries on construction of ownership of houses. So how much is this solution is feasible to them? Providing them the underutilized small parcels of land, rather giving ownership to the constructed.
What do you think? You think it's a good solution?
Sir, no, I
Like
don't
for
take
instance,
as
let us assume that you are staying in a house. So I'll take away your house and give you a parcel of land. Will you accept it?
no, I'll
No,
not
right?
accept.
Yeah. So
Actually, for the lack of land availability, there was a solution of the underutilized land which is already in the urban areas. So they will provide the land to them, rather giving the ownership. So that's why I had this question.
no. I don't know. I'm not questioning your question. I'm saying that is it a solution
Yeah.
you're asking? Obviously, it is not a solution because I'm
Yeah.
staying there. By staying there, I'm getting a place from where I can operate. I can open a shop. I can open a small. I can work in a factory like that. No. So if you're taking away a house and give him open land, so what I would personally, what anybody would do personally is that he will take the land and he'll keep the house also.
Yes, sir.
Not a
Yes.
solution. Yeah. Obviously, it is not a solution. But some of you in due course in your lives, please try to visit Dharavi. If not now, after 10 years or so, maybe you can tell us it will be successful or not. It is not easy to succeed. This project has, I will give you the broad contours of this project in the context of overall economic growth of the country and the overall economic growth, contours of urban India, right? In that context, I tried to explain to you. I'm sorry I could not prepare at all for this lecture, but I hope I could answer the questions. If any further questions, please ask me. Otherwise, thank you for interacting. Any other thing? I am done. Thanks. I'll wait for your questions if anybody. Otherwise, Swami Chakravarti can take over. Thank you.
Respected Sir, Mr. S.V.R. Srinivas, Sir, Additional Chief IAS, Additional Chief Secretary, CEO, Dharavi Project, and GM, based Government of Maharashtra. On behalf of South Asian Institute for Advanced Research and Development, we extend our heartfelt thanks to you for gracing our webinar Transforming Urban Slums, a Sustainable Reformation Initiative. With your esteemed presence and valuable insight, we are truly honored by your contribution and look forward to future opportunities for collaboration and knowledge exchange. Thank you all for joining us for the Transforming Urban Slums, a Sustainable Reformation Initiative. On today, we hope you found the session insightful and valuable. Before we conclude, I kindly request all participants to take a moment to fill out the feedback form shared in your chat box. During the webinar, we
Keep it anonymous.
sorry, sir.
Keep it anonymous if they want, but you should also don't feel bad if you are not participated. It's okay. Cool.
Okay.
And I really thank you and Mr. Bhattacharya. Thank you very much for giving me this opportunity to interact with all of you, because we feel young, when you participate with the youngsters. My wife herself is a professor of life sciences. So I like this and very nice interacting, Mr. Rajchandra. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Sri Krishna.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you so
Thank you,
much
sir,
for
for your insightful lecture, sir. Discussion. It's not lecture, and we are very happy to have gain our knowledge from you.
I would look forward to associate continuously with you people. Thank you, Mr. Patania.
Thank you, Mr. Krishna.
Sure.
Thank you so much. Bye-bye. All the best.
Thank you.
Sure.
Thank
All
you.
the best to everyone.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.